Hare Krishna and a warm welcome to all our viewers to this session of the GBC Strategic Planning Team live. And today we're going to talk about five-course feast under 30 minutes, which is our Janmashtami special. A warm welcome to all of you from myself, Parijata Devidasi, a member of the GBC SPT Strategic Planning Team and also a member of the ISKCON Communications Ministry. And also a warm welcome on behalf of all the members of the GBC SPT team. Uh, Today we have with us a session that I guess a lot of you have actually been waiting for since quite some time, and it's really something that we're going to talk about exciting. We have with us today Radhavallabha. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, a warm welcome to you from myself and on behalf of the GBC Strategic Planning team.
Hare
So,
Krishna.
any of you out there who have actually been thinking of, cooking, honoring prasad, sharing, distributing, serving, or if you are just here to, know more about cooking, Ayurveda, and food, you just right at the place to know more about this. And today we're going to start with just the first session. We have this Janmashtami special preparation of the feast under 30 minutes, sorry, under 60 minutes session,
That's
two sessions. And today we're going to have our first session, which talks about the menu, the preparation, and the mood and the consciousness in which we're going to prepare our feast. And also a little bit, we're going to talk about the ingredients. But before we go ahead, I would actually like to introduce Radhavallabha Prabhu. Radhavallabha Prabhu is an MTech, an engineer actually from the IIT. And he has eventually been having a lot of interest in Ayurveda. He has been studying Ayurveda and sharing this knowledge with a lot of people across, especially what he really likes to talk about is diet, exercise, and relaxation. How do you harmonize all this with nature and with devotional service, or what we would say bhakti? I mean, as I know Radhavallabha Prabhu, I'm from Mumbai, and he is also originally was from Mumbai. He was based at ISKCON Chowpatty, where he actually, developed his interest in cooking. And he had a team of almost 25 cooks under him, where he would actually prepare prasad for the community every day and cook up a feast for the congregation during festivals and during weekends. Besides that, he has also conducted a lot of sessions, workshops across the world, probably more than 200 workshops in different parts of the country, including Europe, Slovenia, UK, US, and of course, India. Presently, he's also conducting a lot of online workshops and also offering his consultancy to a lot of people who are interested in cooking through his channel of yogaplate.com. Um Actually, I was not even aware, but I was really interested to know that Radhavallabha Prabhu has also authored two books, which is Bhajan Se Bhojan, which is all sold out, and we have Sattvic Vegan, which is available on Amazon. So if you would like to read up more about this, then just check out the books at Amazon.com. Uh, so a warm welcome to you, Prabhuji, and today we will, talk a little bit about the whole introduction of preparing a feast, and this is a lot of us during the lockdown are unable to go to the temple to actually experience the whole holistic experience of festival and Abhishek, Prashad, association, just inspiration, greeting the deities, and we are all trying to create that experience for all of us in a virtual format. And that is why we actually, GBC SPT is bringing you this session where we talk about cooking a feast at home under 60 minutes. Sorry. So before we, get into the details, I would just like Radhavallabha Prabhu, if you can also just offer a brief introduction about yourself, that, what is it that you are really involved or engaged with at present. You can just share that with us a little bit, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
and then we just go on talking about, the exciting elements of preparing the feast and all that.
Thank you, Parijat Mataji, and thank you all the DJs to the team. Uh, it's a great honor, and yeah, I mean, this is something very exciting. We cook a feast under 60 minutes online. Today we'll discuss how we can actually do it. Uh, Parijat just asked me about myself a little bit more, but actually she spoke quite sufficiently about me. Yeah, I did cooking. It's exciting adventure for me. I was studying, then I came in contact with devotees from ISKCON Chowpatty and also ISKCON Juhu. Many devotees from Juhu also I was in touch, and they taught me Bhagavad Gita. They taught me how to lead a very sattvic life based on principles of Krishna consciousness, bhakti. So I was then few of students together we came and we started cooking our own food instead of eating in the mess, and that was very exciting. Right from the beginning, I started cooking for 8 students together, and every day, literally, would cut down on our extracurricular activities like going to like games or other things or watching videos. Rather, we used our extracurricular hour in cooking, and that's where I found that I had a strong, long, passion for this kind of kitchen services, which by Krishna's grace, by Radharani's grace, is something I've been dovetailing in serving devotees and spiritual masters and many guests who come like to Govindas or Govindas in Chopati. I developed many recipes there, especially the pizza section, and so many guests come and they get to eat, spiritual food, and it gives a lot of pleasure. And in my ashram life, also I started cooking for devotees who were sick in the beginning. Then I started cooking for our spiritual master, His Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj. And then I started cooking for the devotees, all ashram inmates. And then it went to festivals, then yatras, and it just never ended. For 10, 11 long years, I was busy doing these things. Yes. Uh, Parijat, should I go ahead or you have anything else to add?
Thank you for sharing that information. So we are now actually going to talk about something which is very close to your heart, which is actually food, yoga, and meditation. From what I understand, and these elements are so deeply integrated together with the elements of Ayurveda, cooking. ISKCON has always been known as the kitchen religion, where cooking is such an integral part of a movement, Prashad. And even when we see Chaitanya Charitamrit, when you read Chaitanya Charitamrit, it's all about cooking a feast, serving a feast, and that whole holistic experience of experiencing bhakti through prasad, honoring prasad, cooking prasad, and serving prasad. So, how does one actually make cooking an expression of bhakti yoga?
Yeah, that's a nice question. Thank you. Actually, Ayurveda, it's Veda, basically Vedic. So Ayurveda was an integral part of all Vedic temple culture, including food, of course. And everything, if you go to any traditional temple, the food are cooked in a very particular way. The methods are followed very neatly. The cleanliness, the mood of the cook, everything is very much emphasized and still under people are practicing. If we look at Srila Prabhupada's own life, he actually ate very traditional food based on his culture he's coming from, like West Bengal, and the way he grew up and the timing of food. Everything Prabhupada was very particular, and that actually helps a lot with our health. Uh, so my experience with Ayurveda actually came when I started cooking for so many, like especially my Guru Maharaj, because his diet has to be really good, I mean, perfect, so that it doesn't affect his daily schedule. his all his days activities, meetings, or his public speaking and inspiring. So the food has to really not come in the way of his services. And that's where I understood the importance of Ayurveda in food. And with the help of many Ayurvedic doctors who were treating him, all these years I was serving, I served him more than 15 years. And so by that association and by that interest and by that practice, I came to know that Ayurveda plays a big role in our day-to-day health, especially in the diet. So that's how my interest in Ayurveda comes. Uh, Regarding the mood, uh, yeah, I mean, I have seen that when we cook with a mood of service, the pleasing the devotees or the personalities we serve, then that mood actually enters the uh, cooking. And when person eats it, they can experience that effort to express love can be experienced even in a modern life, like in a day-to-day life also. When mothers they cook for the children with affection and love, the child can feel it. The same food eaten by some other kid may not experience that love that mother particularly cooks for a child. Yeah, we have all experienced it. Only the children children all say my mom is the best cook in the world, right? Because that mother's affection actually enters into the food for the child, and the child can experience it. In the same, applying the same spirit, if we cook for Krishna with a desire to serve him, the desire to please him, then Krishna will accept that service. He will appreciate our bhakti, and uh, that will that will come back in the prasadam. Then when we eat that prasad, we can experience Krishna's love in that. I think that's very essential. That way, how we keep the mood. Well, so many details are there, like taking a bath and not being in anxiety, not being angry. If like they say for DT or SIP, if you are angry with somebody or upset with somebody, if you have done some kind of offenses directly or indirectly, it is better to go to those devotees whom have committed some offense, ask forgiveness, and purify ourselves internally, then come in front of deity to offer service. So these are the details which prepares our mind, which is very essential. And as we see, ultimately, even the person who's eating, the mind, how the mind status is also a lot of, it matters a lot in able to help a person to digest the food. If the mind is very upset, distressed, then one cannot digest the food. And just like during somebody very close to us departs, go away, leave this world, then we feel a lot of sorrow and kind of depression naturally comes, kind of emptiness comes. And during that time, our digestion is not good. So therefore, during these 11 days of Shraddha ceremony, that when somebody passes, so people eat very simple and very, very light food. Depending on to the extent of attachment, those are very attached, they are recommended to fast for 13, 14, 15 days, 11 to 15 days, so that they gradually come back to the real or illusory world, and then forget the miseries, and the mind status comes back to a proper stage. Then one can start again experience the digestive power. So that's about person who's eating. Similarly, person who's cooking, how much effort we put on our mental level, with of course affection, love, and devotion, that will decide the quality of the cooking. Does that help?
It was very, very helpful to understand the science behind the mood of the cook and the mood of cooking. So, like when you largely prepare, I mean, right now we're talking of this feast that we are going to prepare for Janmashtami. So, this is a whole experience where you can be doing it as an individual, you can do it with your family, and even when you do it with a family, it actually becomes a whole experience and it becomes a complete holistic offering on behalf of the family to Krishna. And of course, what is more special than making this special feast for Krishna on his appearance day, which is like a once in a year event. So while we are at this point of the mood of the cook and the cooking, Can you share some tips that the viewers can actually keep in mind when they are going to actually prepare this feast for Janmashtami?
Thank you. Yeah, this family spirit is very important. Uh, the family spirit is very important. Uh, it's not just the cook. Everyone who's involved in preparing a feast, they need to connect themselves to Krishna, like Janmashtami. So Krishna is appearing, and we are observing a festival. So I have seen in temple, especially temple environment brings that consciousness very strongly because the Lord is worshipped there. Uh, very constantly for years and days and weeks and every day and night, winter, summer, rain, just deity worship going on. And that environment, that place, the space is surcharged with Krishna consciousness. The moment a person enters that area, one get inspired and they strongly get connected to Krishna. Even chopping a vegetable or cleaning the rice, washing rice, every activity connects the person very strongly to Krishna. So Janmashtami is a festival where Krishna naturally manifests in our mind and heart, very naturally. We just feel happy, causelessly, right? That is Krishna's grace, mercy, and so these festivals actually make the cooking experience very spiritual. Uh, Thanks to Srila Prabhupada, actually, he has organized these spiritual festivals all over the world in a very massive way, and people from all streams of life, all part of world, all colors, they just get connected to Krishna so naturally and experience that bliss. So when everybody is doing their activities like connecting every of their services to Krishna, like cutting a vegetable or cleaning a rice or preparing a dough, and somebody actually cooking on the fire, of all these activities, of course, they say the preparation on fire is very important. Why it is very important? Because all the efforts, starting from the sowing a seed on the ground and actually watering it and guarding it from all other weeds, then actually the plant grows. It comes with all vegetables and grains and harvesting on time. If you don't harvest on time, the food may cause difficulty in digestion. Other things are there, the details. But then starting from sowing the seed till the point of pre-preparing, a lot of effort has gone. Many people, the farmers, the devotees who clean and cook, all these efforts have gone into the food, and the person who's cooking on the fire, if or see, he or see, if they spoil the food, can you imagine what kind of effort has gone as waste? So the person who's on the fire is like a surgeon, who does operation and right on the person's body. We can actually make the food come alive with a lot of vigorness and vitality and other things, or we can actually kill the food on the fire. So therefore, the persons who's cooking, ultimately in the fire, they need to be trained. They should have certain skills and understanding, and they should be focused and clean. And that will really help the food product to come out good. So we in the temple, we do not, and you will see many Vedic temples, they don't allow anybody to come on the fire. So those who cook on the fire requires to have certain experience and training, especially for the festivals. When we're actually going to offer Krishna's birthday party, we cannot neglect it. So the whole idea of this program is we prepare that mood. We become conscious that we are going to offer something to Krishna. Let us have that mood. If I lack some skills, let me add it to it and make the feast a great offering of love to Krishna. Yeah.
Insight and
Sorry, I missed
especially
your
this.
first line. I think you are muted.
Okay, yeah. Can you hear me now,
Yeah,
Prabhu?
I do.
So yeah, I really like this explanation and insight which you gave about how you have to be so mindful when you're cooking on the fire, and it's so important because it's in reflecting your consciousness, and as you said, the food actually comes alive. And I actually had this. The next thing that I'm asking you is something that I was going to ask you a little later, but I cannot wait because especially when you said about the food coming alive and we're offering to Krishna, it's Janmashtami. So let's come to the point. What's the menu for our
Yeah.
for 5 course feast under
Yeah.
60 days?
S- Uh, okay, I'm now unmuted. So what I was thinking, I thought of many things while preparing this menu, and this will be like my kind of a universal interaction with people, devotees, and guests from all over the world. So I really didn't want to keep a very complicated menu, and especially when the time challenge is there. And I wanted to keep it simple. Now the thing is, the greatest secrets of cooking and the greatest fundamental knowledge of cooking lies in simple food. So you may be thinking, why not very elaborate menu? Now I kept it simple, but we'll try to understand how to develop the skills even in small items in such a perfect way that the item comes out good and very realisable. Of course, it's not a it's a very good menu. I don't want to uh, upset my viewers or participants. So now I'll share a small PowerPoint presentation where I put everything, the thought. So in this section, we'll discuss the menu. Then we'll go to the ingredient section where I discuss about how to pre-prepare the ingredients. Before we go that, let me tell you, the cooking will be actually under 1 hour. As we have advertised and promised, it will less than 60 minutes. The cooking, but the pre-preparation will also go around another 40 minutes, 1 hour, which I want all my viewers to keep ready. So this is what we do. In temple, when we cook for thousands of people, we schedule a timetable and we schedule everything like when to soak chana or chole, for example, which will be one of our recipe will be chole amritsari with paneer. So paneer will add to the festival mood. So when to soak chana to the point when we should boil chole, when we should chop tomatoes, when we should this planning helps to execute very efficiently. Like we cook for over 5,000 devotees, guests in yatras, and Kumbh Mela it goes to 10, 12, 14,000 people. The pilgrims who come to our tent to take prasad. So all this massive cooking I have seen becomes very smooth if we have planned it properly. It's called the process flow, or when to do what. If we understand that aspect, then it's just a matter of putting things together in a very focused way. So in this presentation, I will speak to you about the ingredients, the process, then all of you are ready with me, and within 1 hour we'll finish everything. So that's how we do. There is a whole preparation goes on. We tell our volunteers or devotees who come to help how to put things together, and once that is done, then with the cooks they enter the kitchen, take all the ingredients, and that is also scheduled when to cook what, so that we achieve everything on time. And by Krishna's grace and Radharani's grace, we have never failed to serve prasad on time, except there are some few problems. So that I don't want to go to that now, because we will a lot of fun is there, of course, in experiencing all the doing all these things. But without delay, I'll try to share my screen, and we'll go to the PPT. So can you see the screen? Uh, am I there?
Uh, yes, I think the screen's just coming up.
Okay.
So while it's coming up, yeah, I want to mention that are you going to share the menu with us on the screen, or it's like such a
Yeah.
suspense?
No, no, it's in the PPT. It is there. So that those who are attending the program on live, they can actually take a screenshot of the presentations so that they know what they have to do. Because 8th will be meeting back to the cooking in the kitchen. Will cook the food, cook the prasadam. I mean, cook the bhoga. So now they can take the screenshots, stay ready with the ingredients, and we go in 1 hour. Okay, can you see the PPT now? Anybody?
Hi, Krishna Prabhu. It's still not showing on the screen. if you want to reshare it, if you don't mind.
Okay, sure. Stop sharing. Okay. Am I there? Okay.
This share is not on as yet.
Share.
There we go. It's coming up. Give me a second. I'm going to put it onto screen.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, I'm online, right? On PPT is on the screen, right?
Yes, it is. It's showing up nicely on the screen. Thank you.
Okay, great. So this is the so there are three aspects: menu, ingredients, and pre-preparation. So there are three topics we're going to discuss. The first is this is the menu I have chosen. Uh, yeah, here is the sweet is changed. It's not pineapple dead halwa as I thought. We'll bake a cake like kind of pie because it's a festival, Janmashtami. So we don't want to just make halwa. Actually, I made this menu some days back, but yesterday we decided to change the menu to a cake. So only that collection is there. Rather, there is vegetable pulao, tur dal tadka with some spinach, chole amritsari with paneer, and cabbage pakoras. Now these items are that's I'm going to cook under 1 hour, and you will experience the flavor and taste of Amritsari Punjab. And tur dal tadka is it's like a restaurant type experience of how to make a proper tur dal tadka. Vegetable pulao is rice and combination of vegetable spices, which is very popular. And we have to cook it in a way that everybody actually appreciate the flavor and the taste and aroma. And cabbage pakoras, crispy pakoras are always welcome. People just love on it. But how to cook it nice, crisp, so that it is not soggy or hard or stuff like that, and make it so nice that everybody loves it. Yeah. Then pineapple halwa will not make. Will make a nice pie, pear pie. I'll come to that. So first, the vegetable pulao. If you can see, the ingredients I have kept and the process I have also put them side by side. So what I need my viewers to do is, the participants for the cooking on 8th, please keep these ingredients ready and certain pre-processing ready. Like, wash rice and soak it for 20 minutes and drain the water later. So these are very critical things, and many things I have observed while washing rice, for example. Sometimes, Prabhu, am I on the screen also? Can the participants see me or just the PPT?
Prabhu, I've actually zoomed the PPT in.
Can you put picture in picture so that they can see me?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Certain
Yep,
gesture I have
perfect.
to make.
Not a problem. Yep.
Yeah, am I there?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, thank you. So while we're washing rice, sometimes we put water uh, into the rice. Then what happens? Because if it is a big quantity, like in temple we cook says for 25 kg at a time, so 25 kg rice to wash. If I pour water into the rice comes together, they become sticky and they stick to each other, and you try to clean it and you break down all the grains. So it is always better to pour rice into the water than water into the rice. This is a very important point actually. Especially when you cook in for a large scale, like 20, 30, 40 devotees, 50 devotees, 100 devotees, like that. It's always better to pour rice into the water than water into the rice. Same with the dal, other grains. Another thing is, while cleaning, don't go very strong. Like some people are very passionate, so when they wash the rice, like I've seen some students very enthusiastic, they just go like this, and they break down all the rice grains. We have to gently move our fingers and take out all the extra starch, and all the chemicals nowadays come with the rice because they want to protect it from the pest, but they spoil our health. Anyway, that's another issue. But wash it 3 4 times till the water become transparent. So these preparations actually very important, because that will decide how clean my food is, right? How perfect is my cooking. And the cooking can become more perfect when pre-preparation is actually done with attention. It's something like, we prepare all our life, we keep chanting Hare Krishna and doing our things, and we go on with life. These are like pre-preparation. and they say, Prabhupada says, death is the final exam. That means whatever preparation we have done, that we have to perform at last minute, so that we can actually transcend this world and actually we achieve to, go back to God and achieve to moksha, liberation, and Krishna conscious in a Krishna conscious way, and achieve Krishna's lotus feet. So that is possible if we have done our pre-preparation very well. Any exam, pre-preparation is very important. The exam is 1 hour, right? 1 or 2 hours, depending on what type of exam we give. So, but if the pre-preparation is not good, exam we can't expect to go good. Similarly, the pre-preparation is very critical in cooking a feast. If we make mistakes here, then our pulao will be sticky and many other things can happen. So my request to all of you is, please give attention to these details for pre-preparations. Do not neglect it. If we neglect, then our cooking will be affected in one way or other. And there can be, when we want something to go right, there is only one way. If you want to go it wrong, there can be many ways it can go wrong. And therefore, try to focus on every aspect of the cooking, from the cleaning to rice, chopping the vegetable proper shape and size, because if it is too big, it may not cook well, and it may not absorb the spices or salt also. And if it is too small, it may melt away. So therefore, chop the vegetables like I've said, finger shape, probably, like our finger only, finger shape, and we wash it nicely and drain. So when you wash vegetables, they also get some life. The water brings life to the vegetable, like back, and then we cook them proper temperature of heat. That is the details. That details will go on the next time. But remember, at least cut the vegetables, wash them, keep it ready. Wash the rice, soak it for 20 minutes, and then drain it and keep it ready. Keep all the spices ready and handy. Sometimes we start heating the oil, then look for ginger. Where is the ginger? And try to mash it, try to grate it. Then the oil becomes overheated, and you want the spices, finish. So therefore, prepare. Keep everything handy and ready. Your spice dabba should be ready. Your ginger should be chopped. Your everything should be ready next to your stove, so that when you cook, I said add mustard. There you are. Just put mustard straight. I said add ginger. Wait for the temperature to go till the smoke point comes. Whatever I say, just follow, and we go with the flow, and we can actually achieve it. So please, this is very important. If you keep these things ready, I think we can do it under 60 minutes very comfortably. So these are the pre-preparation for the vegetable pulao. And you see, I have and the spices, I have put cumin powder, coriander powder, turmeric, and garam masala. This garam masala is something like in India we find so many varieties of pulao masala. Now, anywhere in the world, if you have access to some Indian store nearby, you can actually find all these spices. Usually for pulao in Radhavallabha temple, we use Badsa pulao masala for all these years. And this pulao masala has a very nice flavor and taste. If you find, you keep it handy. If you don't have, then also fine. And especially those who are from the West and places like Europe and America, you may find these spices very strong. So you have to use little less than what an Indian bodied person may prefer. So therefore, I have not put the exact quantity here. But on that day, we will discuss a little bit while I'm adding the spices. I will tell you how to adjust it according to your body type, your prakriti type. Okay, so therefore just keep the ingredients ready, and we'll go smooth on that day. Now go to the next item. If you have any questions, you can put on the chat box. Maybe we'll try to answer towards the end of this conversation. I will be happy to answer. Tur dal. The tur dal is actually dal that is used all over India, like from north to south, everywhere. It is universal. This is something that actually fits everybody's nature and body accepts. So therefore, on a festival, when a variety of people come, like people, South Indians, North Indians, and different type of people, East and West, and people from all over also world, they come, we should cook an item which suits their body well. And they appreciate it. If I cook something somebody doesn't appreciate, suppose I cook a cook something like you know, all dals are actually good. Uh, but say chilka mung dal. Sometimes chilka mung dal is also good if you make a dal makhani type thing. Uh, but yeah, but certain items people may not relate. But tur dal is actually universally good. I have seen it, always accepted. And when we try to cook it in a typical Punjabi dhaba restaurant style, then the thickness of dal has to be really good. It cannot be flowy or runny. Therefore, I have put the quantity of dal and the quantity of water also. Please note this. And usually, I don't encourage people to use pressure cooker, because pressure cooker is very high heating, high temperature, high pressure. It actually affects the vitality of the food ingredient, like the dal in this case, the lentils in this case, because high pressure, high temperature disturbs, because the food has life and they give us life. If we, while cooking, if we put a lot of pressure and temperature, they may lose their life, and that will not give us vitality. So usually I don't. But to experience the cooking on time and all, those kind of cooking, I need a separate workshop where I actually demonstrate how to cook dal, or how to cook different items in a very very ayurvedic way, where there is none of these things are used. But since it's a festival time and there is a whole general mass cooking with me, I would not like to put any extra pressure on the participants. Rather, tell them, keep it ready. Let us learn how to spice it, and well, so that you can actually experience the taste and flavor. So this is the main objective of this feast for me, and I hope you accept and understand. So yeah, so you can take these quantities, keep it ready on a pressure cooker, and then we put tadka and make it ready. So your dal should be boiled and ready. Don't start boiling the dal when we come into the cooking. It should be ready. Then how to make the tadka properly, the spicing properly, so that we experience the taste and flavor, that I'll be teaching on that day. So this is what happens in festivals also. We keep everything ready, dal boiled ready. In the morning itself, we put the chole around 4 o'clock in the morning, so that 5 6 hours it cooks. It cooks well, and similar dal is ready. Then that 1 hour main time, where when we come and cook the final touch, that's decides the quality of the feast. So in the same way, keep your spices ready, keep the dal boiled and ready, chop the vegetables like spinach in this case and some tomatoes. Keep all these things ready, and we will try to achieve that. The next item is chole amritsari. So usually many people like Amritsar is in Punjab, like Karachi is also in Punjab. Like now it is in Pakistan, but actually it is Punjab. So these places are known for chole, and I have seen they use tea bags to make the chole blackish in color appear. That gives a very nice hue and color. But one of my friend, I think he lives, a friend from Vrindavan actually, is a North Indian devotee. He told me you can use amla powder to bring that blackish color, and amla powder is very healthy. It's very healthy. It actually balances all the three dosas. That's a, like an Ayurvedic concept. It helps the digestion very smooth. So I have put amla powder. So look at the ingredient list, uh, and keep them ready. I am living in California. It's very early morning here, and we don't have access to all these things. So I'm in, especially in COVID time, the groceries, the places are not so stocked with things. So I may not have amla powder. I'm trying to get it. But if I don't get, I'll tell you. If you have it, keep it handy. I'll tell you how to use it. And your chole will have little blackish color, and that will really give that main effect. And chole, I am saying soak chole overnight. Now, while soaking chole, please remember you need to use a lot of water. Normally, if you use like just cover it with water, the chole soaks up. They absorb the water. They come above the water, and those chole which rise above the water, they don't get water to be soaked. They remain dry and hard. And when you cook it, they'll not boil properly. Some of the chole will be boiled very nicely. Other choles will not be cooked well. So therefore, make sure I have observed it a time and again. The devotees whom I would ask to soak the chole, they would soak in the wrong way, and it affected the items. So therefore, especially in festival times, we took extra care in telling people exactly how much water to use to soak. So you have 1 cup chole, take 6 cups. Even if you can take 8 cups, no problem. Soak very nicely. A lot of water. First wash, of course, wash it nicely 3 4 times. Then soak it with water and leave it for overnight. And then early morning before we actually, or for those who are in India, that it's evening. So before we start the cooking session, make sure your chole is cooked in a pressure cooker for 1 hour. How you do it? Put it in a cooker. Again, water should be around 4 finger above the chole level. You put chole in the cooker, put water 4 finger above, and you boil it high flame. When one whistle comes, then you slow down the flame to the minimum, bare minimum, and then the chole keeps cooking for 1 hour. The whistles will keep coming now and again. Don't worry about it. Just 1 hour, you just leave it like that. The chole is very difficult to digest. The more we cook it on the stove, the less effort will be taken by our stomach to digest. So if I don't cook it properly in the fire, then our stomach will find it struggle a lot to digest it. There will be problems, especially after fasting. So please make sure your chola is cooked like it is firm, but when you press, it's like butter. It just goes like that. But make sure it doesn't dissolve also. This kind of cooking in 1 hour make the chola very nice. And then keep the spices ready, the chopped tomatoes ready, and I'm also mentioning the pot we are going to cook. Remember, the pot also decides how the item is going to be. It has to be whatever I said, the quantity, the size of the pot, thick bottom, lid or without a lid, everything. Please note these things and keep them ready. And if you want to add paneer, keep some like 1 cup of or 1 or 2 cups of paneer ready. I think 1 cup will be enough. Absolutely, 1 cup diced soft paneer. In Mumbai, we get called something called tavela paneer in the market. Of course, for your information, I follow ahimsa. I don't use any milk product, dairy product, which is not from a proper source or cows are taken care. And fortunately, wherever I lived, by Krishna's grace, we have access to such kind of milk. Here in California, also we have access to ahimsa milk, thanks to many devotees who take care of the cows. But I don't put this as imposing this on all my viewers, because you need milk in your diet, dairy. Uh, but the problem is the dairy industry that supplies the milk is a lot of, that's another topic, pasteurization and everything happens, which is not so good for health. But in general, if you find some good fresh milk, fresh organic milk, that is also good. So the best paneer comes out of whole cream, whole milk, which is all the fat and everything is intact, not pasteurized, not stripped of cream. So those milk gives the best soft paneer. So if you find whole milk, make some paneer, keep it ready. And all these things should be ready, then we can make it in 1 hour. Next go is cabbage pakora. This is something very critical. And usually I cook it at the end of the meal, towards the end of the cooking, so that it can remain hot and crisp and can be offered. So for the devotees in the family, I would say you don't make all your cabbage pakora at a time. You make one bowl of pakoras just for the offering of Krishna. And when the offering is done, the devotees sit to eat. That time you can make fresh and hot and crispy. So this recipe, even if the pakoras cools down or dries off, still it will remain crisp. So please watch this. Please observe this cooking very carefully, and keep these ingredients again ready. Some cabbage shredded, I say shredded, but basically I chop it very fine, very fine. Maybe I can show you that there's some how to chop cabbage for pakoras a little bit, but still you keep it ready so that we don't lose time on that. And then keep your chickpea flour, besan ready, and powdered spices and some ginger. This thing you keep ready. Okay. The last one is pure custard pie. Pear. It's a nice fruit, mostly found in West. If you don't have it in India, in your grocery shops or fruit shops, I will tell you what alternative you can use. Maybe some apple, very thin slice of apples, that can be also go fine with this. Now, this is because cake is something, everybody nowadays bake. Even the kids, they bake a cake. It's not a big deal. So, because it's something that you remember we wanting to learn, so I thought of putting this instead of a cake. So it will be very soft and nice pie. So this will go in the oven. So you should be having an oven preheated to 180 degrees Celsius, something around maybe 300 Fahrenheit, 350 Fahrenheit for those who are in the West. Uh, so keep it preheated and mixing bowl ready and the ingredients ready. Then we just mix it everything, put it in the oven. Then we come back to our cooking. So this will be the first thing that we'll be doing. And in the process, let me tell you how I go to the process. We mix the batter, put it in the oven, and put the timer on. And while the cake is baking, we come back, make the tadka for the pulao, keep the pulao on one stove. So I'm expecting that you are having at least four stoves on your kitchen top, like we have here, four stoves. So on one we'll cook pulao, and one I will make dal tadka. Dal is already cooked. I'll make dal tadka. On the third stove we'll cook the tadka for the chole, the gravy for the chole. Chole is cooked and ready. And then the fourth we'll make the pakoras, and in the oven we'll be baking the cake. So this is the process. So first we'll make the batter for the cake, put it in the oven, then we come back and make the tadka for the pulao, keep it ready, then make the tadka for the chole, because chole tadka takes long time to cook. So we'll get that ready. Then dal tadka. When dal tadka is done, we'll focus our time. We'll spend our time making the pakoras. In this way, we'll try to make everything happen, and then offer it to Krishna. So thank you. So let's see. Let's come back to the main screen, Prabhu. I'll stop sharing. If anybody has to take a screenshot, let me know. I can come back here always. Was it clear?
Yes, thank yes, yes, that was very nice. I think it was so detailed, and I think we learned so much, especially those small tips that you shared about how to wash the rice, how to soak, very simple things which are part of our daily life. But I think next time when we are doing this, I think everybody's going to be thinking differently. One question that I had is that, this feast is definitely what we are calling it a home feast for Janmashtami. But if somebody would choose to make it for their friends, for a community, would you say that it would be possible to expand this into like multiples of five or something?
No,
Are we? I mean, what is the number that we are seeing for this? The ingredients that you shared, is it like for a family of five or four?
I yeah, I think it's a family of four is good for this festival, 4 to 5. Uh, but if you want to scale up, only the pre-preparation time increases. Like when when we cook for 200 devotees, pre-preparation time is say like 2 hours cutting chopping vegetables. If it is for 4 persons, then it is like 15 minutes of chopping vegetables, right? So depending on the uh, number of people, the pre-preparation increases. So we have to plan more for that, as I said in the beginning. But the cooking is still same, because your pot size will increase, your fire size will increase. So cooking more or less takes same time, like 1 hour. Like in the yatra also, when you go on the fire, it's like 1.5 2 hours we finish everything. But the pre-preparations, that is really very long, and number of volunteers also increases, and all this, the number of hands has to increase. Otherwise, we may mess up. So when you do community cooking or invite friends to a small gathering, uh, your pre-preparation is something that you have to focus more. That's why this program is for. This episode is basically.
Do you think one could just expand the recipe or scale it up in like double it? Whatever you have shown us, the list, we can just double it. Would that be the
Yeah.
right way to do it if somebody chose to do
When we scale up, there are various factors while scaling up. So if it is a simple scale of like two families instead of one families, then you can just double it up, because same number of kids, number of adults in the same age group, fine. But when we go on like community, like how many, if this community is morely of elderly people or community of young people, or it's a kids program, depending on that, the number of serving changes. So this is more statistical than just a simple arithmetic multiplication. So the team who's going to plan the feast, prepare the feast, must keep a lot of things in their mind. Who's my audience? Who's my people who are going to honor the prasadam? If we keep that in the mind and take some statistics, like if I go to West, I cook a feast like for Bhakti Fest in Sweden, and they don't eat rice at all. I mean, if I in India for a crowd of 100, if I cooks around 5-6 kg of rice, there may be just 2 or 3 kg. So if I cook 8 kg, all the rice will be remaining there. Even if it is pulao, very nicely well spiced and fragrant, people don't eat so much rice there, so it goes as a waste. Of course, when I have observed, when I cook, people eat more. I mean, and they finish kind of things, because what I do, I keep in the mind the spicing of the food people who are going to eat. I don't really keep that heavy Indian spicing while cooking for a Western audience, because I know they cannot tolerate it. They just can't tolerate it. So I adjust in a way that they say, "Oh, this is good," and they start eating. This is something I would like my audience to understand. We have to understand who is going to honor this prasadam. Okay, and that should be our focus. And when we understand the audience better, and of course, we have to follow with the Vedic principles, because we're cooking for Krishna ultimately, and understand it is offering to Krishna. So when you have all these things together, then we'll be successful in our effort to serve.
Um, Prabhuji, you just mentioned, you just went over the menu where we had a very good balance actually of vegetable, beans, that is chole. Then you had grains, which is dal, and of course you had a baked dish, a pie, which also has a serving of a fruit, and of course rice, pulao, so that could have some vegetables. When you have, uh, there's an item which is baked, something is fried, something is just cooked, like we have the chole. What would you say now? Now, this is something somebody's going to be having after a whole day of fasting. So you probably fasted for like um, maybe 20 hours or more, and then you have this huge feast. So how would you explain that from the point of view of Ayurveda, that how do you break the fast? And a lot of times, though some people may have a challenge having such a huge meal, a lot of devotees actually relish it, and they look forward to the feast, and they actually enjoy. So is there a way that after all that fasting, there's a certain way that you break a fast? I mean, maybe you have lemon water, or you have something which is, appetizer, which, just like, puts your digestion into motion, and then you have a feast. So can you share a little bit about this? And especially because I think you always keep the aspect of Ayurveda in mind while cooking. How does Ayurveda see this? I mean, because you are catering to children, senior citizens, somebody with a robust digestion, somebody with probably a weak digestion. So, how can one really relish the feast?
Thank you. That's a very important question. We don't want to spoil devotees' health, uh, because I want to fit nice food, so eat it and fall sick. That's not the right mood. The mood is actually nourish. That's very important. And the devotees who are going to partake the prasadam, honor the prasadam, they should also have an idea. They should also have take a they should calculate their own digestion strength, their health status, and accordingly they should. But that's something detail. But let me give you some general guidance. See, Janmashtami is actually celebrated in Vrindavan, not in Mathura. Mathura, it's like it's all dark, everybody's sleeping, and just Krishna appears beautifully in there. Vasudeva, father of Lord Krishna, he carries across the Yamuna. And the next is the celebration. Actually, in ISKCON also, our main feast is cooked the day after, and Srila Prabhupada, he appeared on the day of Nandoshav. When actually celebration happened, he appeared on that day. And we also continue to fast. Those Hare Krishna devotees continue to fast on Nandoshav because Prabhupada appeared as our attachment, as our worship of Acharya. We fast. That gives a lot of spiritual strength in our spiritual progress. So we fast continue till 12 noon actually. Those in ISKCON, they do it. So that means 12 midnight, Krishna takes birth and our fast breaks. And I have seen many devotees start eating a lot during that midnight time. I would recommend, please do not overload. If you're hungry too much because of fasting, and especially in the middle of the night, the agni, or the strength of the fire, digestive fire is very low. So if we put a lot of food, uh, uh, in general, it will create problem. It is not so nice. So I would rather recommend even Charanamrita. Sometimes I've seen devotees drinking liters of Charanamrita. Of course, that is spiritually great. It gives a lot of strength. But Charanamrita is a combination of milk, yogurt, and Ayurveda they say it is Viruddhara. And especially if you see Charanamrita is always given in small drops in the hand. That is very good. That just like inoculation, or they give this how do you call, preventive injections. I just forgot the name. Now they're searching for COVID nowadays. So that's given a small tiny amount, and the body immunity starts and understand the problem, and we vaccination. Thank you, Sakshi Prabhu. Vaccination. That then body is preparing for major attack and take care of it. Similarly, Charnabhat, if you take in small quantity, it helps our health for sure. Of course, it is always spiritual. We have to honor it. We have to pray to the Lord. We have to thank to the, be grateful to help taking that Charnamrita of the Lord. But again, drinking in a big quantity may spoil the health. Please note it. You honor, but don't spoil your health. And similarly, eating in the middle of the night has to be very light, and like steamed vegetables with little pepper and little oil, very small quantity, just to make your body come back to life a little bit slowly. So when you fast for a long time, the digestive force slips down, and gradually we have to wake it up. But again, we are fasting till noon. Again, take some drink, wait for some time, wait for the call of the hunger. Ah, so that is one way, a very steady way to come back to a normal state and eat or honor prasadam. But another way is because of festival, there is mood is so high, there is a lot of happiness and bliss experiencing. And when the mind is light and happy, our digestive fire also grows up. Therefore, in festival, we eat a lot. We cook lavishly and we eat. In all Indian festivals, we'll see. We cook lavishly, we eat a lot. That's possible because our mind is happy, blissful. Our digestive fire works so well, it can actually digest. Uh, I think we're coming close to the end. So if there is any questions that the audience has, or something that we can conclude with.
Yeah, as you said, we've actually crossed our 1 hour mark. One thing that I just also wanted to ask you, Prabhu, was that um, during festivals, during feast, or even generally at home, when you cook for special occasions, you always end up cooking more. That's something that we encounter very normally. Is there any way that one can actually keep it to the scale? I mean, like, as a cook, if you have an average idea, I'm cooking for 5 people, 10 people, and then sometimes you end up with a meal with, for a lot more people, and then and it's prasad, so then you just end up with so much more food. Any tips that you would like to share in relation to this, that we don't end up having more you know bhoga than what you actually decide to cook, or what you really need?
Yeah, this is very important actually. Cooking the quantity. Uh, I have seen time and again we overcook, and it's very difficult to handle prasadam. Earlier, people would have their cows, their animals living with them, family, and they have 4 stomachs. They can easily handle whatever remains. Just mix it with their dana, and they just eat it. and so those things are not available now. It has to go down the drain, and it's a lot of pain because so much of effort has gone in cultivating the food, and it's Krishna's energy and nature's cycle. We're kind of breaking it out. So what I have seen, if we follow recipes accurate, like Parijat Mataji spoke about my book, Sattvic Vegan. So it is just like any other cookbook. It is a book, and there are many other cookbooks also which specifically speak about quantity. So please try to understand those ingredient quantities. Now, I have put some effort in writing that book. It may again appear simple, recipes may appear simple, but if you cook exactly following the quantities and the procedures, you'll not only get a good result in your food, and but also the quantity will be well controlled. And once you understand, suppose I'm cooking a measured quantity of rice every day, 1 cup of rice, and I saw that after the end of the day, there's still 20% rice is remaining. But if I have measured it already 1 cup, then I can adjust, like 3/4 cup I can take. But if I just put in take a palm full of rice, 3 4 rice palm full, just put it, wash it, and cook it, and things remains, I don't know how much actually I cooked. Then how can I handle it? So therefore, especially in this day and time, observing a specific quantity daily cooking is very important. Even in cooking Rajbhog, other places, uh, please cook, of course, for the Lord, but cook as much as devotees can handle it. Otherwise, again, Mahaprasadam is not good to be just thrown away. So, so therefore, following a standard recipe, I have tried telling this time and again to many devotees. Follow specific standard of how many cups of flour, how many cups of rice, how many cups of dal, and how many cups of water. All those things. If you have certain, develop that habits, then you'll definitely be managed to not to waste food. Yeah, that's important.
Thank you for sharing that. I think that was important. We have crossed our 1 hour mark, but I think we can still take maybe one or two questions. I think it's so interesting. So I think people would really like to, have some of their questions addressed. We have a question. I think my screen is very small. Can you read that, Prabhu, if you don't mind? I think we have a question from, um,
Yeah,
is that Radha or,
Radha Joshi.
okay, okay.
Okay.
Would you like
She's
to
asking,
ask?
when we cooked for Srila Prabhupada, he wanted his lunch in 1 hour. Uh, I I mean, cooked in 1 hour. Otherwise, he said it was wasting valuable time. Yeah. I mean, our life. Am I on the mic? Can you all hear me? Yeah. So my point is cooking a feast and cooking a daily lunch. What Prabhupada is referring here, if I understand it properly, is that he's speaking about daily cooking. And daily cooking should be done quick. Prabhupada used to have this four-tier, because life is not just meant for eating. We eat to live, not live to eat, right? But that has to be balanced. That has to be cooked in a proper way so that we are able to live. If you're able to live, then we can give, we can contribute, we can do so many good things if you're living a healthy life. So when Prabhupada is speaking about daily cooking, yeah, of course, we should not spend a lot of time, but at the same time, cook it in a way that is actually healthy and nourishing. And also, depending on person's personalities, some people are a little slow, some people are very fast. So you should try to strike a balance. Those who are slow, they can little speed up. Those who are very fast, they can slow down, and so that the food is taken care, not affected at the end of the day. But yes, we should not waste too much time cooking every day elaborately. But yes, for festivals, like we cook very 5 course and 7 course, 8 course, 9 course. That's fine, and spend some time because it's for pleasure of Krishna and devotee. It's not for us. Okay. Yeah. So, how to determine how much rice and vegetables? That's a good question. Usually, if you see, if I take 1 cup rice, it expands to 3 cup. Okay. So our vegetables, whereas vegetables they shrink down. When I cook, vegetables shrinks, but rice grows. So even if you're using, let's say, 2 cups of vegetables for 1 cup of rice, still vegetable will be less only in the at the end of the cooking. So that's the idea. So I have given like some quantity in the screenshot. You can check it out, and I think that should go fine. That should go fine. Is ginger paste not listed in pulao? No, I don't add ginger in pulao. Just the vegetable and other spices take care of it. Can you show these slides again for some time? Sure. Uh, so I'm sharing again. This is vegetable pulao. What do you suggest for beverage? Somebody is asking on drinks with the cooking. Usually, the drinks like lemonade, lemon juice, and all, they go with like mint drink or chas. Buttermilk goes good. But there again, our quantity of liquid and quantity of solid has to be balanced while eating. Please note it. If we take too much of liquid item while eating, it may also affect our digestive fire, especially plain water. Uh, but if you're too thirsty and body is seeking water, you know, we have to supply. We have to supply some liquid item like chas or lemon juice, little bit with low sugar. Not too much sugar is not good. Uh, just right amount of herbs like some ginger in the lemon juice also helps the digestive fire. So then this way we have to balance it depending on how our body type is. So if you're already too pitta, too acidic in the stomach, then don't use ginger much in the drink. That will again adversely affect you. Rather use some cooling agent like fennel seeds and other kind of things can be used for a drink, so that it has to balance. So again, do not over drink while eating because that may affect the. So basically the stomach should be containing half solid, quarter liquid, quarter should be empty, so that digestion happens smoothly. That's the formula. So this is vegetable pulao. Next is turdal tadka. Please have a look at it. In the meantime, I'll take one more question. Uh, Sorry, Prabhuji, do you fry the paneer beforehand? No, please don't fry the paneer because I prefer soft paneer just tossed in chole all around. White color, white and red color will be very nice. And especially in frying, many people make mistakes. They make the paneer very hard. Frying has to be done in a very controlled manner, controlled environment. So I don't recommend that complications. Please don't fry the paneer. Uh, okay. Any other questions, Jagannath Prabhu? I don't see the questions. Can you take it up? The next is Chole Amritsari. Okay.
Yeah. So I hope our viewers are noting down all the details. We'll got them. We're going to need this information next week. That's cabbage pakoras and the pear custard pie. So, yeah. Thank you, Prabhu.
Uh,
I think we've crossed
yeah.
uh, more than our 1 hour mark, but I don't think anyone's complaining. I think everybody must have just loved this session of such it was just such a simple, informative. I think sometimes information overwhelms us, but I think the beauty of the session was that it was just so simple, easy to understand, and it was so insightful with insights of mindfulness, bhakti, ayurveda, and just keeping this whole aspect of the consciousness of the cook and the cooking intact. So I'm really very grateful to you, Prabhu, for that. And you have actually whetted our appetite. I mean, not just in terms of the food, but also in terms of, all the information that we have been receiving. And I'm sure everyone's now looking forward to the 8th. At least I am. And I'm sure all our devotees out there are, waiting for 8th Saturday evening, when they're going to, just go on this journey with you to cook the feast. So thank you very much, Prabhuji, for your time, for sharing the screens, for the recipes. And to our viewers, I would like to tell that please be ready on the 8th with your consciousness, with your ingredients, in your kitchen, with your family, with your friends, everyone that you want to be around with, in cooking this beautiful offering of devotion to Lord Krishna for Janmashtami. So we'll be back with you on 8th August with Radhavallabha Prabhu. And as he said that, the key to cook under that 60 minutes is to be all set. So when we get in, we're just going to go right straight into the cooking, and prepare our feast for Lord Krishna for Janmashtami. So thank you very much. And I just want to even mention to the viewers that this video is going to be up on the Facebook page and also on the GBC SPT YouTube page. So in case you want to come back and again look back at the screens, the ingredients, any other information, you can do that. It's right here. You can even share it with your friends, the link. And we just hope to see you back on the 8th August with Radhavallabha Prabhu. So just be there with us. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Thank
Thank you very
you.
much,
Thank
Prabhu.
you. Just to conclude, I would like to thank Parijat Mataji. I heard she's actually sick, but she still came up with this interview. I really thank you for your, you know, coming up and helping us to this program. And also, viewers, there are many questions coming in the Facebook. So what I will do, I'll go back to the page and answer your questions in the comments. Please keep putting your questions. I'll spend some time answer all your questions. And anything you miss, you can always go back and watch it and take the notes out. Thank you
Yes.
all.
Thank you.
Thank you all the viewers, and thank you
Uh,
GBC. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.